Conservation Stewardship Program is a voluntary conservation program available from the USDA Natural Resources Conservation Service. CSP encourages farmers and ranchers to adopt additional conservation activities and improve, maintain, and manage existing activities on their land. Interested participants can apply for CSP at their local USDA Service Center at any time.
Actually, I'll be honest, the first thing that actually got my attention was the dollars. I mean, let's just face it, when you're in production agriculture, you operate on tight margins, and so that's what got my attention. And, we're always looking for ways to improve our land and make our operation better.
And Tim encouraged us to get involved with the CSP because of our common interest in no-till and soil health. He thought some of the things that we're already doing on our operation would fit well into the CSP program, and then of course going through the application process we also come up with some additional enhancements that we wanted to also work on.
A lot of stuff with the program is already stuff that we're trying on our operation or doing some of, and I thought there was a lot of benefit to the financial assistance of doing some of these programs.
Well, I got kind of a small operation, and the filter strips really fit well with me. I farm next to a lot of deep drainages or deep creeks, and when if I'm one of my sons or somebody's harvesting for me, I'm always afraid they drop a combine off in one of them creeks and stuff like that.
We're always trying to look to get better performance off of our cattle, and I'm kind of interested to see how those results will maybe indicate at what point we may need to supplement feeding, or what kind of performance we should expect, or what we're not getting.
The nice thing about CSP, it provided us a little bit of money so that we could do some of the things that we really wanted to do. It's not a lot of money, but it's enough that when you defer the haying and you keep the livestock off the property, it's just enough to make it work for us. So it really does fit well. Probably the biggest thing about CSP that I can say is the knowledge in the office, and we have leaned heavily on the knowledge in the office, and the folks in here are wonderful. They really, really are super duper.
I got involved with that because it was pretty dense forest, and there was no undergrowth in there like shrubs for the deer and the quail, and I can see after I thinned that out, the bottom of the forest floor, just came to life. The deer populations the deer stay around longer now in those areas that I've cleared. I guess some of the enhancements I did were I extended the filter strips to gain some more wildlife habitat, and the field borders were another thing I put in.
Christine, we actually got a smartphone to help us so we can pinpoint our areas and have our key spots, and then we go back year to year. It was really interesting the year that we had the drought compared to this year. Just seeing the pictures and having all that information together in a book is just really nice, because you can go back and you can figure out how much, for rotation or stocking or all those kinds of things. That part has been, to record that and have it in one spot has really been nice.
Part of the reason you're out there is for the wildlife. I mean, you see wildlife hopefully every day, and I always enjoy seeing a turtle or a deer or a grouse or prairie chicken, but even as a kid we used to throw boards in the tank to try to, and it always kind of disappointed you when you see a turtle floating around in there dead, so.
Fence off the river, and so we did that, and then we used solar fencers as opposed to what other kind of electrical fencing or whatever. So we used solar fencers on the river, and that's worked real well for us. And we divided the property into 3 chunks. We have one chunk that we pasture 1 year, and then we have one part that we pasture the next year, and then we let them lay aside the 3rd year. And our goal in doing this is to, number 1, make some nesting habitat-friendly area on one side of it, and number 2, maybe a bigger goal right now is to try to restore the pasture to what it needs to be. And so we heavily graze it early in the spring, and then we let it sit for the rest of the time. That was one of the things that we did. We put a wildlife escape in our stock tank so that anything that falls in there doesn't rot and it can get out. So that's a dual purpose there. It's good for the wildlife, it's good for the cattle drinking that water.
You know, the enhancements that we chose to work with were nitrogen management, the cover crops. Some of the practices we were like the early application of nitrogen really fit into what we were doing already. And split applying nitrogen, we probably do a little bit more of that than we did before. Since we started in CSP, we went to like 3 applications of nitrogen during the year. We used the starter nitrogen application at planting time. We've went to side dressing all of our acres now with nitrogen, and then we still do some application through the pivot.
I suppose the biggest benefit to me would be seeing more wildlife, and you know, you're getting better water quality.
And I would say too, information is power, and you know what you know, but this kind of gives you a justification that, yeah, you were right, and the practices that you have and what you thought was going to happen really does happen.
I think the biggest benefit to me is probably just taking the time to measure what we were really doing. We take stock samples and leaf samples to measure nitrogen carryover, again trying to manage our nitrogen a little bit better. We all try and do as good a job as we can, but sometimes we just kind of look at a particular practice. Is it doing us any good? And this program encourages us to measure what you're doing, and then take the appropriate steps.
Well, I would definitely encourage others to get involved in this program because, you know, for the environmental reasons, and my father-in-law told me once, I'll just put this in here, you know, we're going to live and we're going to die, but the land's always going to be there, and we better take care of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good program. I mean, and probably for our office, which makes it extra good, is just the support that we've had from Brandy and Scott and Julie, you know, just having good people to work with and provide you the encouragement to do it, and then once you get into it, to actually providing the support and help to pull it off. And
I guess that's what it is. It's basically, it's doing the right thing, and they're going to reward you, if you will, with just a little bit of money to do the right thing.
So I would encourage people to get involved with it. We've got great resources at our local NRCS offices, and they'll do everything they can to help you.
I think the CSP program's a good program. There's a lot of people that are not in favor of agriculture anyway, and we need programs like this to help justify that farmers are doing the right things for the land.
For more information about the Conservation Stewardship Program, visit the Natural Resources Conservation Service at your local USDA Service Center.